What's going on, guys, and welcome back. So I kind of teased it on Facebook yesterday with the video, but we're going to try and do a different video on a different deck every day leading up to Atlanta. I want to give you guys plenty of different options. Today, maybe it's not the most competitive deck, but it's a deck that initially had a ton of hype going into the Inklands, and, well, it's a lot of fun, especially when you pull it off. You already saw the title and the thumbnail, so I'm not going to pretend like we're not playing Beast today. So the Beast is back. We are back in the Bayou. This is obviously an Emerald Steel deck, trying to capitalize on your Relentless Beast, your Bayou, your Sheriff of Nottingham. You have Whole New World to make sure you get to your cards. Beast Tragic Hero also to help you get there. I think this deck is better than the zero tops it has had since set championships. However, I think that to play this deck effectively, you're going to be spending almost $700. Yeah, like 600 plus. So it's a lot. And if you're going to be spending $600, you can buy much, much better decks. And that is simply why this deck is not seeing any competitive play. Because for the cost of it, it's not even close to being good enough. You can spend half the money and build a better deck. Like I said, if someone wants to build this deck, absolutely, I think they can do really, really well. But again, not many people want to spend that much money just to try to top when they could spend much less to do so. So we're going first against Blurple. We have a couple replays, then we will jump into the deck choices, and that's pretty much how this works. So without further ado, we open Smee, Hood, Chill, Storm Rajon, Whole New World, Captain Hook, and Beast. I've been trying to find ways to apply pressure and force your opponent to interact with you and play a normal game before they can try to get to your Beast combo. So we do hit a couple uninkables. At least one of them is part of our combo. We're going to throw a hook down and pass turn, obviously with a Smee follow-up. We do have two songs if we get to our Ursula. However, there's a good chance that that won't happen. So our opponent comes back with the Chernobog's followers. We're going to ink the Sudden Chill, play the Ursula, see his hand. So Tala Tala, Belle, Maleficent, and Gaston. I should have quested right there because if he challenges, we just trade and he doesn't draw a card. And if he quests, he's going to draw a card and I can't challenge him anyway. So I probably could have got Captain Hook home safe there. Yeah. Do I think it was a huge thing or going to matter? No, I really, really don't. But it just probably would have been the smarter play. We need to ink some cards here. We're going to let him ramp, but he's not going to get to his free lord by questing. So we're going to go ahead, hit that, draw a card, which is Beast, so that's good. Again, we had to ink Smee, because that's a big thing in this deck. You have to keep your ink curve going. By turn 6, you really want to throw down the Relentless Beast, so that turn 7 you can play Sheriff and Bayou, move your Beast to the Bayou, and ideally win. Sometimes, especially if your opponent knows what you're playing, they're not going to put enough health on board, so we draw another Beast. I'm going to be all over, by the way. We draw a Beast, and we can ink it. I throw down the Sheriff because there's a good chance we're going to Whole New World anyway, so we're going to go Sheriff 4, Beast 5, Beast 6, Sing Whole New World. Because of that, Sheriff needs to get on board, and we'll just kind of leave him there. Luckily in this matchup, too, he should be pretty safe. They don't have a ton of spot removal. I guess where were we at with that? Oh, the play curve. So you really want to play your Sheriff typically on that turn 7 as well as your Bayou, so your opponent really gets turn 6 to interact with Beast, and if they don't, well, you win the game. But again, if they don't have enough health on board to do the loop enough to gain 20 lore in one turn, well, you can always quest earlier. So if you get to a point where you only need like 12 to 13, 14 lore, there's a really good chance you'll hit 12. However, it's not always going to happen. So today we're here to see how these replays go, and again, just kind of go over the deck and the choices. Taking out the Maleficent there, I guess kind of bluffing, like we played our Sheriff, we took out the Maleficent, took the damage off board, let our opponent kind of commit to the game a little bit more. Gaston comes down, which is going to help, so he's got 10 on board now, or 5 on board, sorry, which is essentially 10 questing with the beast, 12 if you count the initial one. We draw 2 off our beast, so we can ink the Tinkerbell. We have ink for next turn, or we can make him discard cards if he holds them and doesn't play them. Sitting here debating, I'm like, what should we do? Do I want him to keep cards in his hand? Do we sing the whole new world right away, or do we wait and sing it next turn? The benefit to singing next turn is our opponent doesn't get this turn to get more cards in his hand. So if we sing whole new world this turn, he gets 7 fresh cards, and yeah, I mean, like, it doesn't necessarily benefit us. We're going to get 2 draw for turns, assuming he can't damage our beast. And then if we have to sing the whole new world, we can. We really just need to hit the Bayou, though. So, again, we're sitting pretty good. Once Mickey comes down too, our opponent has enough health on board that we're going to win the game. And then the bell comes out. I kind of just figured at this point, he's showing me what's in his hand, and we win the game. So we hit whole new world and the Bayou. Bayou is all we need. And typically here you would play your Bayou and your Sheriff, and then move your beast to the Bayou, which is that 6 ink. And then you just loop your beast, you quest, and you draw a card, you discard a card, you deal a damage. One thing to watch out for is obviously Cogsworth, and that resist 1 is going to be very problematic to deal with. So you're not going to be able to loop versus like wheel ramp. So I would probably prioritize getting down like your beasts still, because obviously they're multi-questers. Going for things like your Tinkerbell, if you can sudden chill and rip their hand apart, which is kind of risky because if they wheel you, obviously they're going to get a whole new hand, and that was kind of in vain. But again, yeah, like versus Cogsworth deck, I just wouldn't prioritize the loop. We did get paired back up again with him this time, and again, we are going first. So this time, I was like, we could keep the beast, but I need some early turn plays, and if we hit him later, we hit him later. We end up missing our 1-drop altogether, but we do hit our Ursula this time, so we can double sing some songs. We have our Sudden Chill, we have the Storm Rage on. We're sitting in a pretty decent spot here, so I'm not too worried yet. We can get a little aggro and put the Flynn down. We still have our Smee obviously in hand, but there's a good chance he just becomes ink this turn if we don't draw anything better. But yeah, we have our Ursula, who's going to double sing the Let the Storm Rage on, draw us a couple cards and deal with some board presence. And then also we can go after his hand with the Sudden Chill. So I'm feeling pretty okay with where we're at. And we don't necessarily need to go for the loop. Again, it's nothing to do with Cogsworth in this matchup, but the deck doesn't necessarily have to do the loop. It's just something you should know how to efficiently maneuver. Our opponent gets their ramp going with Mickey. They have the Tala obviously on board as well. We draw Captain Hook. So now we got Hook and Beast. Do we go after his hand here, or do we deal with his board, and then we can go ahead and quest, right? So let's deal with his board. Take him out, draw a card, and draw a card. So we hit Ursula and Beast. I'm going to play the other Ursula, see his hands. So Snake, Quill, Maleficent, and Rufus. We're going to ink the Captain Hook. Leaves us with 2. He's not going to be able to take out our Ursula unless he top decked a Fox. So I wanted to keep Sudden Chill instead of just hard playing it, because we're going to go after 2 cards in his hand. Additionally, too, if we draw an inkable card, we can play Beast on 5, and then we have our Beast Relentless for 6 if needed and if able. Our opponent thinking it all through pretty thoroughly, and Maleficent comes down next. Ink a Snake. So 3 cards left at hand. He puts the 1 damage, which essentially here he didn't want to discard a card, and he was just trying to ramp to get to his big heavy hitters. We draw Benja, which again, we just wanted an inkable card that we don't need in hand, so we can double sing Sudden Chill, take out 2 of the 3 cards in our opponent's hand. We have Flynn to get a little aggressive still. We have Ursula to get another lore. We can ink Benja then, play the Sad Beast, and we're sitting pretty good. That Maleficent isn't really a worry whatsoever. Um, Unlike last game where we were at 3 when we just looped and got 17 in one turn, this time, well, we're at 7 already with another 6 on board, so we're sitting in a pretty good spot. Assuming Maleficent is going to do something, however, if he can empty his hand, take out the Flynn, we see a Merlin Crab come down, boost the Maleficent. Oh wait, he already quested with it. That is why she is exerted. Personally, probably should have took out a character, whether it's the Ursula or the Flynn. The Flynn on the downside, like I said, he would lose that last card in his hand. So we draw a couple cards. We do hit the Bayou. So we're 2 turns. Well, I guess we need our Sheriff too. So we're not quite 2 turns away. But we can go ahead, ink Tinkerbell, play the Beast. And then we're going to leave the other Beast readied because I want to get that second draw. And if we have to, we can sing the Whole New World on next turn. So essentially we get 9 tries at getting our Sheriff of Nottingham. Our opponent has the Maleficent Crab plus 2 in hand. There's probably nothing he's going to be able to do to truly take over this game. Crab and Belle both come down. We lose connection, reconnecting. Game is back on. So we lose our Ursula. That's okay. We're going to lose our Flynn here too. And once again, that's okay. If we don't hit the loop, which we didn't yet, we can, well, obviously, say Quest Beast, Ursula attack, Ready Beast, Quest Beast. So we could go to 17 pretty easily, or if we wanted, Beast could even take out some cards on his way. Instead, we do the easy route. We sing the Whole New World, we hit our Sheriff of Nottingham, and that gets us the rest of the way to our 20. So, now that you guys saw a little bit on how the deck works, don't forget, information down below if you're interested in supporting the channel. If you need 4 Ursula Deceivers of All, we're doing it for our May Patreon giveaway. Again, link down below. Your contributions directly go back into the channel and help fund giveaways such as this one. So I guess I was off a little bit. I said it was like a $600-700 deck. It's only $536. Now we can all play it because it's not that expensive. Well, I guess that's still a lot. So, what are we playing? Well, we have 12 inkable cards. Again, it's very important to make sure you get your ink curve and you don't miss an ink. If you miss an ink, it's not going to be great because the deck already is kind of on a curve where your opponent knows how to deal with it, especially if you commit your hand to it, like our first replay that we had shown. Missing an ink can be very, very detrimental. If you open a bunch of uninkables, it could potentially be better. It's when you get to those like turn 4 to 6 when you're starting to run low on cards and you just start top decking uninkables. That's when it's really unfortunate. So if you have a bunch of low cost cards, don't necessarily play them all the time. Play what you need to keep your game advancing. But at the same time, sometimes you may want to hold a Captain Hook or Robin Hood or even a Flynn in your hand to have that ink resource as your turns progress. We are playing 12 1-drops, 8 of them being characters for 4 Captain Hooks, 4 Robin Hoods. Our 2-drops, we have 4 Flynns, 4 Ursulas, 4 Smees. So we get a little aggressive with our 2-drops, and then also obviously being able to see your opponent's hand and potentially rip out a song. Ursula Deceiver of All kind of applies a lot of pressure to your opponent, and if they didn't see something like Bayou or Sheriff, they probably won't even peg you for being on the Beast OTK yet, especially in Game 1, so you can steal some games. 2 Benjas to deal with your opponent's items. For Sheriff, obviously, you want to be able to get to your Sheriff. I've tried other builds playing it at 3. I don't necessarily dislike it, but for consistency reasons, we do want to play it at 4. We're playing 3 Tragic Hero, 4 Robin Hood Champion of Sherwood, 4 Beast Relentless, and 3 Tinkerbell Giant Fairy. I've been pretty happy with these ratios. Yeah, I don't think I'd change them, at least not in the foreseeable future. Being able to double sing Storm Rage on and Sudden Chill can be so strong. Like I said, it also gives that extra layer that the deck can do in your early turns to just establish control and force your opponent to interact with you at that moment. You don't want them to sit back and wait for your beast and then play an along came Zeus. You want to force that Zeus on your Ursula if you can. You want to force that Zeus on your tragic hero if you can. You want to force out these cards so that way they can't just wipe your beast. Because again, ideally, they get one turn to take out the beast because the next turn you're going to go for the loop. Then we play the 4 whole new worlds to help get there. Being able to sing this because you have your Robin Hood and your beast is just very, very strong. Obviously, too, like if you have to, it could set you back a turn, but if you have to play it on turn 7, but you have, say, your sheriff already, I guess you could play your sheriff on 5, beast on 6, whole new world on 7, and then hopefully you hit your Bayou, and you can move a card to it. Bayou being the last card. Again, it's a 4 of, not too crazy, but anyway, guys, it was a lot of fun bringing this deck back. I'm curious to see if anyone else will pick it up. Again, due to the cost of it, I don't think they will. However, if you're playing online, I think it's a really fun deck that has a pretty decent potential to at least win you some games. Thank you guys for watching. Until next time, like, share, subscribe, comment down below.